NASSCOM Game Developers Conference, and we're in conversation with yet more programmers and developers, lots of young people around with some great ideas out there to really make you want to come and play. And we're in conversation now with Amit Goyal and Arjun Gopal of SuperSike Games. Guys, it's great to have you on, so thanks for joining in.
Pleasure.
Now, you have been developing games. You're based out of, I think, Delhi. That's where the studio is based. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so the company is called SuperSike Games. I'm Arjun, he's Amit.
How did you all get together? How did this start for you?
We used to work together in a radio station back in Delhi, and yeah, we've both been gamers since we can remember, and so we ended up playing a lot of cooperative games together, and we were like, hey, you know, it's more fun making games as well, let's give it a shot, and frankly, that's the story.
Okay, Amit, what's the experience been like?
Of
the last, I think, 1 year since the company was actually incorporated?
It's been a great experience. I mean, it's a very different way of working because I've actually gone through MBA, been in that corporate environment, and I was in hardcore marketing and sales and everything. So, so the way things work there versus the way things work now is extremely different. I mean, going from a very number-driven scope of work to something which requires your creative inputs, something which actually is a lot of fun.
And he doesn't have to wear it.
I don't have to wear. I don't have
to work. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to wear trousers anymore. I think that's the best thing that has come out.
The perks of the job.
It's the best thing that's come out. I don't have to wear trousers.
Okay, so tell me this. Now you've already come out with one game, right? Yeah. That's already been published, and it's called Yet Another
Bird Game.
Another Bird Game. Obviously, reminds me of the very famous one. But you know, why this name? What is the game all about? And what has the experience been so far?
So yeah, to be honest, yeah. So we initially had thought of naming the game Bird on a Wire, because it's about birds on wires. You know, you see these birds on wires all the time.
Right.
And we thought, hey, why don't we make a game out of that? And it was called, we thought we'll call it Bird on a Wire. But I think Disney has a movie called Birds on Wire. And we thought, no, we don't want to get into those legal issues. And then we found that during that period, there were so many games which had birds in it because of, well, you know, who. So we thought that, yeah, we just yet another bird game. And it was kind of a joke. And we thought that, you know what, let's just call the game.
It just stuck. Yeah. So it's available on iOS, I think.
Yeah, it is.
What about Android? Are you reaching that platform?
Actually, with Android, when we actually got into the whole industry, I mean, we ourselves weren't very, we didn't know much. I mean, we were also learning on the job. So when we started making this game, we kind of ended up building it natively on the tools provided by Apple. So porting it to Android is like a big task now. So as of now, we're focusing on iOS, and as and when, you know, as the game proceeds and, you know, if it picks up enough traction in the market, yeah, we'd love to go down to Android.
Yeah, we feel it deserves an Android version, but I don't know if the Android market deserves us yet.
Okay, that's a loaded one. Okay, so let's talk about the journey to the App Store, because it's okay to develop cool games, but then it's another thing to be seen on the store, to get the downloads going. Tell me, Amit, what does it take to be visible and be successful on that App Store?
The best thing you can do is catch the attention of the Apple editorial team, which we did not, but I mean, just from a dream for us. So I mean, if you get noticed by the Apple developer team and editorial team, it kind of makes sure there, because then they feature you on the store, because honestly, discoverability is the biggest challenge that everyone is facing right now. There's just so many apps out there that yes, you release your app. I mean, getting the process of releasing an app is very, very simple. I mean, Apple has made it very easy for developers, which is probably why there's so many. And but from there, the best things that can happen to you is either you get a lot of downloads, so you build enough traction, enough buzz around your game from other channels.
And side marketing channels, perhaps,
yeah,
or Facebook,
exactly, like
or
Facebook,
Twitter.
forums. The gaming community is a very vocal and active community on the internet. So you get their attention while your game is being developed. So you do those things which kind of pulls up your game on the charts, and then you get noticed. And once you're in the top 10, 20, 30 games, then you start picking up traction. Or if Apple notices you, and then they put you out there and they do their custom banners for you. So these are the things that you really need to, you know, make it on the App Store.
What about making money? Are you thinking of things like that as well, or is it just pure passion?
We have to think of that.
Correct. It's a company, it's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's about the money, but it's not that easy right now to suddenly like wake up one day and say, hey, no, I'm going to earn millions now. It's not that simple. But everybody has that dream. But yeah, I think the most important thing is before you even think of making money is to make a good game, or your product. I mean, you're as good as the product. So I think that's a very fundamental thing, which is very important. And as of now, yes, the focus is more on developing those products versus earning millions of dollars or rupees.
That should hopefully
I mean, the money has to follow. I mean, you cannot get into it with the objective of, listen, I'm doing this to make the money.
No, absolutely.
So you have to kind of think of what place your game has, and what place do you have in the entire ecosystem. What kind of games do you want to make? Because you need to really like playing the games you make. If you don't like your game, how can you expect someone else to like it? So then money is a question which comes in later. The first
But
part.
have you sort of decided upon the model that you want to follow? Are you at all looking at free to play, or are you happy with the current model where it's an upfront mode of payment?
So for us, I mean, free to play is something which we are now going to experiment with. I mean, Yet Another Bird game, because of the fact that it was our first game and our first foray in the whole industry, has been it's been a learning experience for us. So we kind of saw the pitfalls of the premium pricing model with Yet Another Bird game as well.
And what are those pitfalls?
That if you don't have marketing backing you up, if you don't have a name for yourself, people will not be willing to pay for your game. I mean, it's very easy to assume that, okay, it's just $1. I mean, why would anyone they can go and buy a $300 iPhone. Why can't they pay $1 for your game if it's a good game, it's looking good and everything? But they don't know you. I mean, at the end of the day, there are so many developers out there who have made a name for themselves, and they're bringing out their games every day. So they will pay for them because they know them, and there's that trust that, okay, it's coming from these guys. So like we had Sigomo talking about their games yesterday. So they built that trust over the years that people are willing to pay money. But
because it's a new Sigomo game.
Yeah. But for us, why would someone pay SuperSike games? We've never heard of them. How do we know if their game's any good? So that is one big pitfall that you need.
So now that you are thinking free to play, because that gives people the chance to kind of sample your game, see what you've got to offer. What about then building on the revenue model there? Because I think people are still experimenting, right, on how the free to play model will be monetized.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of ways free to play really works. There's this whole whales and sharks theory, which I really don't understand. He understands that, but whales and dolphins. Yeah.
Whales and dolphins, okay.
But no, it's more like so you can have like ad-driven networks are available, through which you can monetize. You have different kinds of ads now. You have video ads these days. You have your in-app store, which is becoming really, really popular now. In fact, people look for stores in the games where they can upgrade stuff, buy new things, get new avatars, and get new backgrounds, and so on and so forth. There's so many things. The whole ecosystem within the game is becoming bigger. I feel in some games is becoming bigger than the game itself. So yeah, I mean, so it depends on really how you want to approach it. Do you want? So what we feel is if the store is needed for the game, your in-game store, your game requires it, then it makes sense to have it there. But we feel that a lot of games is just pushing it, like thrusting it upon the player because it's become like we need to earn money, so let's put a store in there, it's kind of thing. So I feel that is kind of, as a player, I really am not really a big fan of that, but I guess each person deals with the situation his own way.
Okay, so then what plans 2014? This new game, is it going to be a free-to-play that you'll work on?
So as of now, we are working on another version of Yet Another Bird game, which is not going to be a separate release, but an update to the current version, which will be a free-to-play version for the game. So over there, we're going to work out, like he said, that there are different things that may work for different people. So we are going to see what works for us, and sort of come to that level where we can implement it in our future releases as well. Apart from that, we have another game in development which is still unnamed. It's very different from what we've done with the previous games. So that's something we have that let's do something entirely different. So we will definitely have one more release which is like planned and done for, sealed, which will be coming out in the next few months. So in the first quarter most probably of 2014, we'll have a second release out as well.
Yeah, the only thing we don't have ready for the game, the second game, is a name. So we're waiting for a good name for the game.
Yet another game. No, it's going to be different.
Yeah, I hope so.
If nothing comes, we'll just call it Yet Another
Game.
Well, there we go. We've got the names well going. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Good luck with your plans.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for talking to us.